My name is Christina Vassilopoulou. I hope to develop the issue of the exploitation of minks and their continuous devaluation as creatures through the deconstruction of the rhetoric that has been created around this small animal in Greece and specifically in Kastoria, a fair city of Western Macedonia. First of all, you can hear me well, or I have time disruption. Okay. When I refer to Western Macedonia, I refer to the northeast region. Excuse me, I think I can't hear myself. I don't know why.
We can hear you well, so you can continue.
Okay, I'm really
talking,
sorry
that's
for
okay.
that. Okay, I'm really sorry. Okay. I hope to develop the issue of the exploitation of animals and their continuous devaluation as creatures through the deconstruction of the rhetoric and that has been created around this small animal in Greece and specifically in Kastoria, a city of Western Macedonia. When I refer to Western Macedonia, I refer to the northeast region of the Greek state, not the state of the Republic of North Macedonia, which is a separate state. In the picture, we see the landfill of 2,500 minks that were executed in Kozani, a region of Western Macedonia, in November 2020. Adorno, in Minima Moralia, in his attempt to describe the systematic dehumanization of people for extermination and the justification of the massacres, said that people think of them as their only animals, in which phrase the famous quote is attributed to him. This devaluation of mink as unworthy of life is also seen in the case of the fur industry, which treats them as a raw material, the environmental organizations which treats them as inviting parasites, and the health organization which treats them as miasmatic bodies contaminated with COVID that must be exterminated immediately. Before I continue, I would like to make a disclaimer. Today's presentation seeks to shed light on the issue of mink from a political and sociological perspective in line with animal rights and total liberation ideals. The analysis is not intended to contradict the results of biology and environmental science research, but instead to provide a perspective oriented to the animals themselves as individuals and to clarify the conditions under which they were found confined, sick, free, dead in Greece and elsewhere. Those conditions in no case could be characterized as neither random nor natural. It is the result of a capitalist type of industry that exploit animals and pollute the land, the fur industry. Minks in the spectrum of knowledge and production. And mink, vison, fur, coat, black diamond, tail, investment, invader, parasite, alien species, bloodthirsty predator, underprivileged animal, danger to public health. So many names and logothetical statements for a small carnivorous animal that lives in forests and mountains. So many scientifically made subspecies for a form of weasel that is found all over the world, with variations in individual characteristics. The American mink, the European mink, the lutra, the Cretan zurida, what Stanescu and Cummings call anthropocentric taxonomies. So many names, but also persecutions of these small animals for the sake of animal husbandry, hunting for their fur and scientifically pure nature. Following a Foucauldian critique of knowledge production, we see the classification of animals we can see the classification of animals, excuse me. Following a Foucauldian critique of knowledge production, we can see the classification of animals into species and subspecies as an attempt to control and exercise biopower, where the individual is lost in the category of the species and therefore has no individual interest or rights. From all above, non-human animals, as similar and less different than a German Shepherd with a Chihuahua, the American mink was chosen for the production of fur due to the durability of the final product, the fur coat. So the fur industry, after decimated the populations of number of wild fur animals through fur trapping, set up factories in which enclosed millions of animals for fur farming and production. The Greek fur industry, it is established in northern Greece, and there are two main areas with fur tradition, Kastoria and Kozani. Kastoria took her name, the town of Kastoria, and they also nominated the lake of Kastoria from the beavers, which in Greece the word for beaver is kastor, that they live in the lake and they were hunted for their fur. The fur industry in Kastoria is established 500 years and it was an acknowledged union from the Ottoman Empire. Until the mid-20th century, there were not fur farming in Kastoria. But the last 10 years, there is a great rise. From 35 mink farms in 2009 in the area, they have become more 100, and from 350,000 fur cell in 2011, the production in 2014 exceeded to 3 million animals per year. In the region of Western Macedonia, a total of 1,100 fur-related companies are active, but the 99% of the products are exported. According to the data from 1999, in total in Western Macedonia, there are only 90 farms, which raised 4,000 minks and gave birth to 1.2 million minks per year, which shows a declining trend in the industry, which is maintained due to the state subsidies on the agriculture. The fur industry also supports the meat industry by feeding the minks with horse, beef, whale, fish, meat, milk, eggs, bone meal, and cod liver oil in combination with the extensive use of antibiotics to reduce infections due to due to the confinement of the animals. There are also other consequences other than animal abuse from the fur industry in Kastoria and Kozani. First of all, the fur industry, and in particular firms, are causing a number of economic, social, and environmental impacts. Specifically, the economic power of the fur traders has created the tendency of monoculture in the local production, presenting the fur as the only domestic product, systematically degrading the other activities of the region. Typically, in Western Macedonia is produced 40% of the bean production of Greece. Kozani also is the only area of production of crocus, the Greek saffron, and the biodiversity of the region is suitable for sustainable tourism. All those activities are antagonistic to the fur industry. Moreover, raising and slaughtering mink is a violent and unhealthy job that is often no longer performed by the local population, but by highly exploited economic immigrants. Mink farms and fur tanning have led to widespread water contamination in the area. At the same time, the fur industry is a disgrace to the region, and it prevents the inhabitants of Greece and other regions around the world from visiting Kastoria due to the cruelty towards the animals and the stench exuded for many years by the tanners. Moreover, the region of Western Macedonia has the least tourism compared to the rest of Greece and the highest unemployment rates in the European Union. Thus, in Greece, in parallel with the lobby of the fur traders, a number of organizations and citizens are active against the fur industry. At the early 90s, activists such as late Rosa Minakouli, we can see in the photo above, organized systematic protests in public targeting celebrities who supported fur trade, but also bringing the global movement to the Greek opinion. Since 2010, have been organized rallies, marches, store blockades, and protests at the Ministry of Rural Development. In 2011, when the Association of Greek Farriers decided to hold the first international fur exhibition in Athens, they met strong reaction and protests. This exhibition continued until 2019, but it were ended due to the lack of participation of exhibitors and customers. Also, protesters have gone to the Kastoria city for the first time in 2018, demonstrating against the fair of the city. According to a survey by Organization Vegea in 2018 and 2020, about the 80% of the respondents disagree with the breeding and killing of animals for their fur and with the state subsidies received by this sector. In its last meeting in April 2021, the Panhellenic Welfare and Environmental Federation received a promise for gradual abolition of the sector in line with the trend in other European countries, but we have to see if this is true from the part of the ministry. So this was a little entrance on what happens with the minks in Greece. Now we're going to discuss about the discourses on minks. The minks are seated inside the fur industry in Greece, and they are nominated as coat, trim, vison, fur, tail, investment, black diamonds. When they're liberated in the wild, in the Greek wild, they called invasive, alien, intruder, pest, bloodthirsty, carnivore, uncontrollable populations. And when they got sick due to the COVID, they called danger for the public health, underprivileged animal, or even ungrievable COVID victim. Minks as invasive species. In 2009 to 2010, about 50,000 mink were liberated in the area by ALF activists in Kastoria, Greece, from which about 10,000 minks were survived. Until then, it was unknown to the majority of the Greek society that the American minks are bred in Greece and the concept of alien species. Of course, rural areas are quite familiar with the characterization of a number of animals as harmful: wolves, bears, foxes, jackals, weasels, rats, hares, and their systematic killing. The action of the ALF activists did not take long to activate the outcry of the Greek Ecological Organization, which characterized it as criminal against animals, but they didn't set any criticism about the fur industry. But who is nowadays behind the witch hunt of the minks? First of all, the fur farmers who use the activists as scapegoats to blame them for the leakage of mink in the natural environment. Besides, this release from the fur firms, it is a common side effect of the fur industry. So in that way, they escape from the outcry of the public opinion, but also from responsibilities that correspond to them towards other inhabitants of the area. The second category is the animal farmers who see the minks as a threat to the animals they're exploiting. The third category concerns the hunters who see the minks as competitors of their prey and victims. In September 2019, the European program Life Atlas was established, which aims to, with a budget of 2 million euros, to eliminate free animal minks from the region. A plan which they hope to be completed by 2022. The program is led by the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki with partners, the Hellenic Fair Federation and Hunting Federation of Macedonia. The environmental studies on which the necessity of eradication is based do not consider mink at all as living creatures, as persons with interest and intrinsic value. The very word eradication used in the Life Athias program is an attempt of deception, as in the Greek language, the word eradication refers to plants and the eradication of diseases, thus removing the vitality, emotions, but also the pain of trapping and shooting. In this way, by demonizing and degrading animals into plants or epidemics, they legitimize the only truly invasive existence that is none other than the fur industry itself, not only because it introduces new subspecies in the area, but also destroys the natural environment. Except from the human animal, almost all species of animals immigrate and change areas either to survive or due to accidental events. Therefore, this tendency of ecology that studies ecosystem as closed, non-dynamic, and inaccessible to other organisms is based on discursive precepts which are associated with the idea of a pure and immaculate nature, often either derived from or supported by eco-fascist doctrines. For the last 5 years, Greece has become a host country for immigrants who want to go to the other countries but are trapped here due to transnational policies and agreements. Local communities view those populations with great hostility. They are characterized as asymmetric threat that they come to pollute and erode the national and religious uniformity of the Greeks, forgetting that this uniformity achieved through systematic ethnic cleansings. The same racist policies used for animals and humans, although human and animal migration is a reality. The term expansive invasive sets the lines of distinction not only between human and non-human, but also between humans and animals of different species as irregular populations. This creates a state of emergency where the deportation of immigrants and the extermination of the mink becomes imperative, ignoring their desires and rights. According to Agamben, in modern biopolitics, the ruler is the one who decides the value of or non-value of life as such. That is, whether life as such has value or not. In those photos from the newspapers, we can see the war rhetoric that accompanies the liberation and the trapping of the mink. In the first picture, we see the habitation of the mink in the mountains of Western Macedonia to be linked with the occupation by the guerrillas after the end of the World War II, which ended with the use of napalm bombs by the opponents. Here is the newspaper who said that minks liberated from Sciatista also occupied the Gramos mountain, which was a discourse for the Democratic Army of Greece in the Civil War. In the second picture, we can see a photo that depicts the rage or even the irony of trapping and shooting mink with the air gun. It says that kill the intruders, and the way that the program Life Athias kill the mink, it will be with trapping inside this trap and after shooting the minks directly with an air gun. So we're going to see and then the discursive effects on minks by the COVID. At the end of February 2020, the fair traders of Kastoria came back from Milan Expo and they bring COVID with them. So Kastoria and Kozani were among the first regions in Greece that COVID broke out. In spring 2020, there was a great discussion globally about mink infection from COVID, but Greek state did not examine the fair firms. In fall 2020, Kastoria and Kozani were the first regions that get under lockdown due to the second wave of coronavirus. Thousands of mink and dozens of workers found positive to COVID, and in November 2020, 2020, 2,500 minks killed and buried in Kozani. The government did not stop the production line, and only minks with positivity to COVID would be killed from the state vets. There were no discussion among the officials for abolishing the fur industry as harmful to public health. And we can see 3 images as I'm closing.
Excuse me, Christina,
yes.
Just to let you know, you have about 1 minute to finish.
Okay, I will show the images and can talk about this in the discussion. Thank you. So in the first image, we see a poster of an anti-fascist group that correlate the minks with workers, that they are exploited by the capitalist system, and they parallel the world capitalist system with the fur industry and the mink to slaughter with their workers, implying at the same time that the lockdown is a solution in the recession phase of the economic cycle. In the second picture, we can see an image from an article from a financial newspaper where the choice of the Greek government not to stop the production of the fur appears as an opportunity to attack investors from European countries. Also, in the Norwegian documentary Pels, the fur farmers say that if they ban fur farming here, I will move my establishment to the South Europe. So they may have a plan about fur banning. And in the last photo, we can see the expression of the widespread feeling of pityness among the Greek population for the minks. Thus, Life on newspaper presents the mink as the most underprivileged animal on the planet. At the end, I would like just to mention the ideas of compassionate conservation, animal-oriented ethics on conservation that could be placed instead of the execution on mink from the program Life Atias, and that we have faced the problem on its source, on the banning of the fur industry, and see the earth as an emerging nature culture and not as closed systems. Thank you very much.